Welcome to the Financial Freedom Mastermind Group podcast. Here we're all about breaking free from the 40 to 50-year work grind and accelerating our journey towards financial freedom. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern as we explore different types of investments that can fast-track your path to financial independence. We serve as a hub for connecting with fellow members during our sessions so you can share successes, ask questions, and keep the momentum going.
Good evening, everyone. This is Niyi Adewole, host of the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group, and I'm excited to be joining you here today. We are well into the last quarter of the year, and I'm actually really excited to kick this thing off. I think the last quarter was a time period of a little bit of uncertainty in the real estate space. Was the Fed going to actually start lowering rates? Well, that was answered, and they did begin that rate lowering cycle. And now we're starting to see some more refinances, some more activity pickup. And so I'm excited about that in general. Not to mention this past week, the Ekabo Home family had a amazing women breaking ground event where we got to learn from some dynamic women in entrepreneurial space, as well as in real estate, crushing it in their chosen fields and trailblazing a path. So that was exciting. So anybody that was there, it was awesome. It was cool networking. And for those that were unable to make it, we look forward to hopefully seeing you at a future Ekabo Home event. We try to do it once a quarter. And so we should have one coming up toward the end of the year. But tonight is going to be an open session. And so in these open sessions, we like to invite anybody that's on to either throw questions in the chat and or join live so that we can hear more about what you're doing and working on, and also be able to kind of take this conversation where it goes. But feel free to join via the chat and or join live, and we will kick this thing off. On a complete side note, we do have team members now in Florida, and so prayers up to them. I've checked in with a few, and they seem to be doing fine right now. That being said, that weather alert is on because landfall is supposed to happen tonight. And so definitely want to keep all of our Florida family in our prayers. And on another side note, there's been a lot of evacuations happening in the Western Florida area. And so, I don't know about you guys, but we've been getting a lot of B&B bookings coming up from Florida. So we've gotten, we manage about 30 properties, and typically during the week is a little bit tougher. So we may have like 50% of the properties occupied during the week, depending on pricing, things of that nature. But this week, literally everything is occupied, and people are trying to extend because they don't know how long that damage is going to be. And so that's another benefit to what we provide, right? And what you as investors provide is you provide a living situation and an opportunity for somebody who's trying to relocate with their family, right? Especially in an emergency situation. And so I think that it's at these times where you truly see it's not just an investment, but it's also something that's needed for the greater society. And I see Kanayo in the chat, and I'm pumped that you were able to get yours booked as well, and that you joined. And I think last time we weren't able to get you in, but did you have any questions or comments based on the last conversation we had on here? One other piece I'm excited about that's upcoming is, I don't know if you guys mentioned it, or have seen it, but the West End Mall in Atlanta is getting redeveloped. It actually was purchased for about $450 million by some developers that are going to turn it into a mixed use area. And so when you look at the Metro of Atlanta, there's a lot of investment getting poured in by both the government, with the Beltline getting finished, as well as private capital. And so all around, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so it's great being in a city or an area where there's a lot of upside, right? Because it's hard to miss here. You really just got to find a solid investment that you can hang on to for the long term. And if you're able to do that, they tend to drift up and to the right, especially around here, looking at the 6th largest metro. And so that was one of the major reasons that I even decided to move down to Atlanta. Because when I was making the decision to move to the Southeast, I thankfully was able to get a promotion at the job that I was working at. And they said, hey, you can choose anywhere in the Southeast region, right, that you have an account. And so I could choose anywhere from Texas to Florida to North Carolina to Tennessee to Georgia. And after looking at all the metrics and visiting different areas, settled on Georgia because of all the things that we just talked about, right? 30 of the Fortune 1000 companies based here, the diversity of income, the diversity of the people themselves, and your proximity to be able to drive down to Florida, drive over to Carolinas, over to Tennessee, and kind of get the benefits of all worlds. And I see that question on the multiplex target. I can tell you that, yeah, I'm helping a couple individuals even right now with the small multis. With the news that was released late last year, the fact that you can put down 5% on a small multifamily, it's only gotten more difficult to be able to acquire these because there's more buyers out there that are actively looking for these to do a house hack. And so when it comes time to go buy one of these multifamilies, you really got to have all your ducks in a row and be ready to move on it. I can tell you I got mine by securing this home under contract before it was even finished being built, right? Like got it under contract and we didn't kick off due diligence for like 3 months because we had it under contract to where we had the paper and I was able to still look at other deals and see if there's anything else that popped up while we were waiting for it to get finished. This was kind of a unique one, but we've seen some nice ones out there as well. I've even seen 1 or 2 that we potentially are going to get under contract as early as tomorrow morning that we've put offers on for different investors. So yeah, the multifamily market is competitive, but it's one of the biggest bangs you can get for your buck, especially if you're looking to do a house hack. And I'm all about it. It's fun. But again, this is an open session, so please feel free to join via chat and or join live, and we will make it happen. Good question. Areas you can get good deals for a multiplex. So it really depends, right? It depends on what you're looking to do. So for the last multiplex that I got, I was less concerned about amazing numbers as I was about the area. I wanted to be in an area that is like on the pathway to where it's like, hey, they're going to complete a lot of things in this area rapidly to where we can get a high appreciation rate. And so the duplex I purchased is actually on the edge of Summer Hill. Like you can walk to the main strip of Summer Hill. You can go see the Georgia State University Stadium. And it's about 3 blocks off of the South Side Beltline, which is being completed right now. And so when you look at that Beltline and you look at the east side, it's hard to touch anything that's near the Beltline. If you're 3 blocks from the Beltline and you're in a multiplex, oh yeah, it's going to be in the millions of dollars. And so same over here, once they finish that South Side Beltline, all the houses that are alongside it, including any multifamilies, are going to just skyrocket. And so that's what I was more focused on. So that's one way to look at it. If you're looking at neighborhood, then the deal is, hey, can you get a property that is going to be able to pull in some income for you? And can you rework it in a way that you feel comfortable paying whatever's left over? So that's one way to look at it. If you're looking purely at the deal, there's many to go around. You can move a little further out potentially. So I've seen some solid like triplexes out in Decatur that make a lot of sense, right? Number wise. We've seen some out in Gwinnett County, like the Lawrencevilles and Lilburns of the world. But if you really want to be inside the perimeter, we really got to take a look at what is available and sometimes get creative. It may not all be long-term rental work. You may have to furnish one of those units and turn it into a short-term or a mid-term rental to make the numbers actually make sense. And so that's kind of what we've been doing in advising investors, especially if you're going to go that house hack route and put down 5%. You're putting more pressure on the deal itself because you're keeping most of that money in your pocket. And so you have to get creative with how you're getting that cash flow in the early years and understand that's only going to get better each year that you go. So for example, the one that we did, we bought a duplex, turned 1 unit into a luxury short-term rental, right? And then live in the front. And so that essentially allows us to pull in significantly more to help offset that mortgage. And for those who may not have seen it, we actually sent out a message because we dropped a podcast that was a little bit different. So typically we try to bring any guests onto the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind group so that the group can get the opportunity to interview that guest too. But this guest, our just schedule didn't work out for doing it at night. And so we actually got to interview a lady by the name of Ginger Faith, who's been in the real estate investing game and entrepreneurship since 1994. She actually started with the house hack before it was called a house hack. She bought a 6-plex back in 94, lived in 1 unit while she was renovating the others, and essentially was cash flowing because the other units were covering the mortgage and paying her an additional $500 per month. And so her story is now on the Ekabo Home page. Feel free to go check that out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts. and we're going to be dropping small clips from it throughout the weeks to come. But it was an awesome interview, definitely inspiring, and she's blazing a trail for women in real estate and really anyone looking to be in this long term. Hey guys, anything else top of mind? Any other questions? All right, guys. Well, hey, I hope everybody has an awesome Wednesday. We're also dropping another episode next week that was an in-person, the first one I've done in person. A guy by the name of Adonis. We did this after we had our event on Saturday, had an in-person with him. This is a guy that owns 62 units across multiple states. He's doing some mobile home parks. He's done some ground-up development. He owns 2 10-plexes, right? Or don't quote me on that. 1 10-plex, and I think it's an 8-plex. One in Florida, one in like the Carolinas, where he's doing all short-term rental, and he's built out systems to make all this run. And so that is one that is in editing right now and will get dropped next Wednesday. So I'll definitely send a message to you so you can listen to that. And I look forward to catching you guys next week.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern as we explore different types of investments that can fast track your path to